Recording in progress.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our fast track orientation call. Welcome to the EntreMD Business School. Happy New Year, the whole 9 yards. I'm so excited you're here. I'm excited for your journey. This is going to be amazing. So I wanted to hear from you guys first because I've been looking forward to meeting everybody. So if you could, maybe we'll do 3 people or so. If you're brave, of course you're brave. Lift you can raise your hand on the Zoom thingy. And I just want you to introduce yourself and tell us why you joined the EntreMD Business School. Excited to hear. Dr. Pooja, Dr. Delia, and Dr. Tammy. Okay, go for it. And Dr. Malini. Dr. Delia, we'll start with you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Delia Garamonte. I am a palliative care doctor, integrated medicine doctor. If I'm echoing, I'm sorry.
I think you changed the setting. You're good now.
Okay. So why did I do this? Because I have been doing hospital integrative and palliative medicine, COVID frontline stuff. I got super burned out and ran away and started doing medical editing just so I could get my well-being back. And that made me feel like, I don't have to always work until I'm half dead, even though that's the culture. And maybe I want to do my own thing. And what I really want to do is teach other physicians about integrative and palliative medicine. I was an integrative medicine doctor first, which is like acupuncture, massage, guided imagery, and a palliative doctor, which is all about morphine and SSRIs and lots of meds. But really, when patients are going through cancer or other difficult stuff, they need both. And there are not people really who do both. And I want to make a fellowship or some sort of kind of official year-long educational program for doctors who are interested in both so that they can better serve their patients and find satisfaction in their work.
I love it. People, she wants to make a whole fellowship. I love it. And that's really great. I've never heard anybody combine it quite that way. So that's awesome. And congratulations, you're going to do it.
Thank you.
So good. Okay, Dr. Pooja, I think you were next.
Yeah, hi. So I was still practicing neurology a little bit, but I also do clinical trials as an investigator. But I was experiencing burnout before, which I'm sure a lot of physicians have. And coaching actually really helped me to get through it. And so I wanted to help other female professionals with burnout. So I became certified at the Life Coach School last year. And I just actually launched my business last fall for group coaching. And actually, I'm doing my launch right now. The first group coaching starts this Sunday. So I'm very excited about it. I've done some, one-on-one coaching, but I really want to do group coaching to have more impact and to get to know more people. And I really love coaching. I love it more than medicine. And I really enjoy doing it. I love helping the people I've helped so far. And I want to help many more people, many more female professionals.
Love, love, love. And it's so needed, right? In the times that we're in. And for you and for Dr. Delia, I would say, thank you for everything you do. I know we tell military, thank you for your service, but I think everybody needs to look at every physician and say, thank you for your service. You know what I mean? Thank you for what you've done. And thank you that you didn't just walk away from your vision, which is to help people, right? You're burnt out and you're just like, what's a better way to do this? So that is amazing. Amazing. Congrats on your launch. At your first program will be first of many. Amazing. Dr. Tammy, I think are you still here?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hi, so I'm Tammy. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and I worked on an inpatient unit for a while and got burnt out, and really it just was not aligning with my personal goals and who I was anymore. So I resigned, and I'm currently on a self-imposed sabbatical. I don't know what you want to call it, or I'm taking a break to figure out my life. And because I just didn't feel like I could do it while working in the setting that I was working. And so it's been just a really wonderful experience getting to be with my kids. I really haven't been able to do that before. I felt really guilty always talking to parents about parenting, and I never saw my children. So for me, that was a big thing. And what, so I really wanted to do this my goal is to open a private practice in the next few months, but I wanted to make sure that I had the systems in place that I could, I don't want to become a slave to another job. I'm really interested in a number of things. So I wanted to make sure that I did it properly from the beginning so I can move on to other things as well.
All right. Don't become a slave to another job. I love it. I love it. And for child and adolescent psychiatry, like you guys are the winners, man. Like you are so so needed this time. Thank you for what you do. I love it. Lots of private practice docs in the group as well. So yeah, lots of collaborations to be had. So that's amazing. Congrats, congrats. And finally, we're going to do Dr. Malini. Did I say your name right?
It's pronounced Malini.
Malini. Okay, I did not say that right. Hi, Dr.
okay.
Malini.
Hi. So I'm Malini. I'm a PM&R spine physician. I work for a big ortho group. I actually just resigned 2 days ago from my position. So I'm so relieved. I feel like I've been at this practice for 8 years and it moved in a direction that I don't want to go in. And I am super excited to kind of figure out what my next step is. Part of me does want to start my own practice, and then a part of me wants to do something else, which I don't know if can both be combined together. But I want to create like a space that we can all come to, like as physicians, like an actual physical space that we can all come to, because we have a lot of these coaching things online, but I want to try to create like a physical room, like I call it my Zen room, that we can all come together and just support each other. And so I'm hoping that maybe that could be combined with a practice, or maybe I just work on that alone. And that's what I'm here to kind of figure out what my next step is.
All right. Well, welcome aboard. I will figure it out. And it sounds like you're on a sabbatical almost, right? Like for Tommy. So yeah, lots to figure out. We'll figure it out one step at a time. And you'll make the decision that works for you and where you are, your family and all of that. This is so, so good. Okay. Now, what I want to do this evening is I want to give you guys an overview of the school and what to expect and how to get the most out of this. My agenda is, I have one agenda, and that's to help you win. That's it. That's really what I want to do. And we've put together a lot of systems and resources and tools and all of that stuff to make sure that that happens. And so I want you to see what all those things are. And I want you to know how to get the best out of it, know how to reach out for help and all of those kind of things. And then we'll take it from there. You will notice that I haven't yet added you to the main Facebook group, and all of that is done intentionally because sometimes you go in there, it's like, rah, what is going on? Like, what is all this stuff? And so this is my strategy so you're not overwhelmed. We focus on the key things we need to focus on for this call and the next call, and then you get added to the group. And so that you don't come into the group as a newbie, you're like, no, I know all the things, I'm here, and then let's go. Okay, so does that sound good? Yeah, okay. All right, so for this one, hi, Dr. Christine. We see ya. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen here. And let me get all my stuff in place. Technology, please work with me. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna run through these, and then I'm gonna leave some time at the end for Q&A and all of that. So if you have some questions, you can just hang on to them. I'll be sure to answer them. But I just want to give you the stage. Now, this picture just shows you how excited literally, I'm like, yes. An hour before I was ready for this call. Okay. Super excited about it. So welcome to the EntreMD Business School. You are in for the ride of a lifetime. Okay. So I wanted to show you a little bit about what happened in 2021. We had over 100 physicians who were served in the school. Many new businesses started, like whether that's private practice, coaching businesses, e-commerce businesses. A number of doctors are entrepreneurs. So they are entrepreneurs. They own their own brands. They're the CEOs of their own brands, but they work jobs and they're happy to do that. So we had all kinds of businesses launched. And there's a lot of massive growth, right? So we're talking about, I got my first clients, I got my first set of clients, I crossed the 100K mark. Some had come in with established businesses and they're like, I want to hit 7 figures. They did that. So lots of massive growth, lots of transformation, not just in businesses, but in the lives of the doctors, like as entrepreneurs, like, a lot of growth, and then docs who went on to do TED Talks and, got invited to be on TV and all this kind of fun stuff. So it's a lot of growth that happened in there. We had our in-person vision retreat. We had it in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. It was like so phenomenal. Like if you just want to get it, you're just like, I just want to scroll on Facebook. You can literally go to hashtag EBS Retreat 21 and you see all the, posts and stuff from it. It was just really good to get everybody in one space. Like we have a really solid physician community online, but in person is just mind-blowing. We also worked on our first collaboration book. And so we have one book. So, I had multiple motives behind the book. The first was, I was like, for the doctors, I want them to be able to do something that kind of not forces a paradigm shift, right? Like that's the way I was thinking about it. And I was like, wow, what if they could all become best-selling authors? For the ones who wanted to take it up. And I was like, great, I'll lend the credibility of my brand. We'll market it together. We'll do all of that stuff. And they'll come up with a really great book. And then for the audience, I was like, is a lot of, for the physician community as a whole, it does seem like entrepreneurship is this strange thing that happens. And it's like maybe some businesses are so big, others can't see how it's possible. But these are 47 stories of real life entrepreneurs, some who have started, some who have hit 5 million in revenue. So it's kind of like the whole spectrum. And so it's a win-win situation, right? And so we did that. We turned in the manuscript in December. And so that book is going to go, it's going to be released sometime, probably in the summer, the beginning part of the summer. So that was something else we did. We launched the private podcast, which many of you had access to. And I think we've been able to create what I consider the most positive and supportive community for physician entrepreneurs. It's like phenomenal. When you get in there, you will see where you have people who, they're positive, they're supportive, but they'll also hold you accountable. They'll call you out when you're doing stuff, but they're supportive, and people come out from their own for their own, and a lot of really big collaborations, right? Whether that's, people creating other opportunities for people, or giving them opportunities to guest on their podcasts, or recommending them. In fact, there was somebody on the call yesterday who was like, oh, I just got a new client, and it was somebody else in the EntreMD Business School who had told that person, look, she is phenomenal. You have to go work with her. So all kinds of collaborations happening because it's a community of physician entrepreneurs. So that's kind of 2021. But 2022, we have an agenda, and this is what my commitment to every doctor in the EntreMD Business School is I will set the stage. I will partner with you to help you create more impact, because doctors, we will always talk about serving and earning in the EntreMD Business School. But our motive is not the revenue. Our motive is we want to help people, or we want to create some change in the world and stuff. That's the way we are. And so more impact, more revenue, more time, for the things that you want to do, more connections, and a lot more fun. Okay, so those are my 5 things. Like this is what we will be tweaking the business school and supporting everyone for them to have these things. Okay, now, for this cohort, you get the best version of the EntreMD Business School so far. Okay, so the business school was launched in June of 2020, and that was 1.0. And then last year we had 2.0. You get 3.0. All right, so we have we have tweaked a lot of things, we've improved a lot of things, And the idea is just to help you get to where you want to go. All right. So 3.0, there are a few things that are going to be happening. Again, I want to show this to you because I want you to take advantage of everything that's available to you. Okay, so we have weekly live sessions. And those sessions will be from when you join the main cohort, it will be every Wednesday. So we don't make it variable. Is that day is 7 p.m. Eastern. And so that way you can just, schedule it and be done. Okay. Now we do have different kinds of meetings that will happen on those weekly live sessions. So we have strategic reviews, and strategic reviews kind of like, think about, you're in an airplane looking down 30,000 feet view, and that's looking at your business from the top level. Like, what are the things that need to be tweaked? How am I supposed to see this in a holistic way, right? So those are more, strategy, not tactics, like this is how you do a Facebook Live, but more strategy, like what are the things that I need to do to move my business forward? What are my revenue generating activities? What should I be doing this month to generate, the result that I'm looking for? How do I set my vision board properly? How do I set goals properly? Like those kind of things. We also have how-to master classes. So how to do a Facebook Live, how to start a podcast, how to run a master class, how to do a consult call, how to create a VIP wait list for my private practice that I want to start 2 months from now. So these are a lot of how-to tacticals, and we will be doing those as well. We have masterminds, that's what we call them. And these are like a favorite. I think when I asked people what they wanted to see more of this year, a huge percentage of them brought up masterminds. And these are like small group meetings. So imagine like, there's 60, 70 people on a call, and then they're broken out into groups of 6 or 7, and they have structured conversations for about an hour. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So we do that. And we will alternate it with structured Q&A. And so when we have our laser coaching calls, sometimes people come up and answer questions, but we have these structured questions where we're like, what is this specific pain point in your business? So we can come on one call and maybe answer like 10 of those, which tends to be so great because sometimes you need stuff and you don't even know that you do. You just wait for someone else to ask them, okay? For the months that have 5 weeks, 5 Wednesdays, we will be doing milestone celebrations. You will find that in the EntreMD Business School, one of the big things we do is celebration. We celebrate everything from I got my first client to I had my first $400,000 month. We celebrate them all. Okay, because with being an entrepreneur is not like medical school. Like medical school, you graduate from that. Residency, you graduate from that. Entrepreneurship, you just keep becoming. Right. And so if you don't stop to celebrate, it can be such a miserable journey and you won't even realize that you're making progress. So we do that. And then we have some specialty tracks, special for private practice, for coaches, some things that are just specific to you. We would have some extra trainings for that. So those are what your weekly sessions, so that it'll be a mix and match of sorts, but it's designed to make sure that everybody gets the help that they need. Okay. All right. So that's the first piece. The second piece is, now let me check in. You guys are doing okay? Following along? Yes, yes. You can post in the chat because I can't see faces. Yeah? Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. Okay, so the second thing is monthly challenges. And so monthly challenges, the idea behind it is just to keep you in momentum. That's really what it is. So that if for any reason you're stuck or you're feeling some kind of way or whatever, we have this thing that you can be a part of and everybody's a part of it. So there's this positive peer pressure. So you can create momentum, you can get unstuck, you can get bigger results and stuff like that. And so we would have all kinds of challenges. So we had the podcast challenge where you have to find 10 podcasts that you can be a guest on, because putting your message out there matters. It makes a huge difference. We've had the Facebook Live challenge. We had the Speak to Grow challenge. We had the Quantum Leap, which we did January last year, which was so crazy. Ask a Day challenge. We have all kinds of challenges, but every month there is something. And the idea is just to generate momentum. And even if you're not sure, you're doing it in community. So it's always great. I think I had one of the students speak at the welcome party for a particular cohort. And she was just like, whatever you do the challenges. Okay, so I'll tell you what she told them. All right. And then we have the private Facebook community. I talk about this because, you know, when you have money in the bank, that is capital. When you have relationships, that is capital as well. And sometimes your social capital is actually more valuable than your financial capital. Okay, so the Facebook community is not just an extra group. It is a group of doctors just like you who have made commitments. They're committed to their dreams, they're committed to their businesses, they're committed to do the work. So it's such a rich community. So when you go in there, I will challenge you and invite you not to be a lurker per se, but to engage with the group, to ask questions, to respond to other people's questions, to celebrate people's wins with them. You know, to respond. I would usually ask a lot of questions and they're all intentional. They're all leading somewhere, right? Be part of it, engage. You might go like, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert too, okay? Virtual hug, and we can do this. But the relationships in your life, they're so, so, so powerful, okay? The connections that can be made are so powerful. So when you show up there, amazing things happen. So you want to take advantage of it, okay? And then we have a few events. So this is where we had the Vision Retreat last year at Hilton Head. And we have a few events that happen. Now, I will start by saying this. The business school is complete without the event. So if for some reason you're getting married that weekend and you can't come, I don't want you to feel like you're missing out on the school, but it is an unbelievable add-on. Okay, so it's kind of like, you know, 0 to 60 kind of thing, because the online experience is so powerful, but the in-person experience is completely mind-blowing, So we have 2 in-person events and we have 1 virtual event. Okay, so the EntreMD Business Makeover Mastermind is kind of like tactical diagnostics. Think of it like your business was a car and we brought all our tools and we popped the hood and we're working on it. Okay, that's kind of the way it is. Tweak your business, look for the things that need to be removed, the things that need to be added for you to kind of do a 0 to 60. This year, the Makeover Mastermind is in Atlanta, April 28th to 30th, okay? EntreMD Live is our annual event, so not necessarily for the business school, but for EntreMD, the larger community, and it's on the 11th of June. That is a date to save. It's a Saturday, just save it. It's a phenomenal event. And for you in the EntreMD Business School, when you go for an event that we host, it's not just about the content on what you're going to get, it's for you to also see the execution of it. Okay, last year when I did EntreMD Live, I was like, there are people who hear me every week, but I am going to make sure when I show up in that space that they are blown away, even though they hear me every week. And that's exactly what happened. And when I was done, I came back to the school and I popped the hood and I'm like, okay, guys, let me walk you through everything I did to get 533 people registered for this event. Let me show you everything I did to make it an amazing event. Okay, so it's not only attending it, it's also that you get to get the behind the scenes, because my commitment to the EntreMD Business School is not just to throw around tactics, it's also to show you everything I'm doing that works for me. Everything, I hold nothing back. Okay, so when you attend, you're of course you're going to get phenomenal content. It's going to be a phenomenal experience, but then you also get the other part that nobody gets. Okay, all right, and then the Vision Retreat. The Vision Retreat is more aspirational, inspirational, digging into your why, digging into what you want your next year to look like, visioneering, all of that stuff. Okay, so not as tactical, but so incredibly powerful. The reason it's in October is because for the last decade, I think at this point, I start my new year in October. Okay, so October, November, December is like Q1 for me. And so that way I stay focused through the end of the year. And by the time I start in January, I'm light years ahead of others because I'm in my 4th month. You know what I mean? And so we go there to set the intention and all of that stuff. So when we start the year, we start with a bang. Okay. There's a doctor in the business school yesterday who was like, yeah, I already closed this, I closed that, I already have $13,000 in the bank. You know, she was already on a roll, like complete roll. And we're 5 days into the year. I'm like, okay, that's great. Okay, so the vision retreat, so powerful, so powerful. You'll be able to register for the Makeover Mastermind right away-ish, but for the vision retreat, once the location is finalized, you'll be good to do that. Okay, so now the vault, all the content, laser coaching calls, training sessions that we've done since the inception of the business school, you will have access to. So once you have your portal access, you'll get all of that. A significant amount of it is on the private podcast. Now, the private podcast you should already have access to. And there's a ton of resources on there, but all your replays will go on here as well. So if you're like, I want to listen to, the replay from a Wednesday that I missed on my run, then you can just pop that in and you're good to go. So it's kind of like the EntreMD podcast in the sense that it's a podcast, but you get access to everything. Okay. So these are all the things that you have available to you, and they're all designed to help you win. That's it. All right. Now, how to get the most out of this? So this part I want you to, kind of lean into and own. Is very simple, but I want to show you, and this applies even if, you work a job, if you're busier, if you have a little one, lots of, mommies in the group and stuff. So this will apply. Okay. Now, your weekly live sessions, I would love for you to just schedule them. So like every Wednesday from the 19th, just schedule 7 p.m. and all that stuff. Chances are you won't be able to make every single one, but if you have the commitment to it, you can say, okay, for the Wednesdays that I do miss, Thursday at 9 a.m. is when I catch the replay, or whatever that is for you. But as much as possible, try to attend those, try to get what you can out of them. Okay. The sessions will last for an hour, except the weeks that we do laser coaching, it could last longer, but you don't, if you need to leave, you can. And then the masterminds, because there's a lot of conversation, that may last a little longer, but we're talking 15, 30 minutes thereabout. Okay. The second thing is the engagement in the Facebook group. Even if you're an introvert, even if you're like, I'm not sure, something that came up a lot during the retreat was, you guys are amazing physician entrepreneurs. I'm just me. I don't feel like I belong here. So I want to say this to everybody who's listening to me. You belong here. You belong, whether you are at a place where I'm multiple 6 figures, I'm trying to crack 7, or you're like, I'm trying to decide what to do. This space is for physician entrepreneurs who are trying to crack that next milestone. This space is for you. There are sometimes you may feel intimidated. There's sometimes you may go like, wow, how did they do that? I can't do that. Think about when you were a resident. Sometimes a third-year resident will do something. You're like, my goodness, how could they do that? Right? But guess what? You're going to be able to do that. It's only a matter of time. Right? So I want to say here, you belong. And when you come into the Facebook group, it is your space. It is your safe space. Okay. So don't be afraid to engage. Even if it feels weird in the beginning, do it. And you'll get better and better at it. I'm more comfortable. Okay. And I'm at my core, I'm a, very introverted introvert. So I'm not saying this not acknowledging that it can be intimidating, but it will change your life if you do. Okay. All right. And then you have the student portal, you have the private podcast. We do have a lot of resources there. So if you're ever like, man, I want to do a webinar, or I want to do a masterclass, or I want to host my own event, You can go back and look at the training I did about how to fill an event, where I do a debrief for EntreMD Live. Like there's so many trainings like that, how to rock the stage, how to nail your talk, all of that. So you have access to it. So when you have questions and all that stuff, you have resources that you can go to, okay? Then the events, we've talked about that. So I want you to look at it. I want you to make a commitment, even if you're not completely sure. Like for the retreat, I kid you not, like just go search, not now, after this, just go search hashtag EBS retreat. I think that's what we use, EBS retreat 21, the hashtag, and look at the experience that people had there. It was such a game changer, such a game changer. So I want you to make the commitment. Like I'll be there. I'll check it out. I'll show up, and I'll show up deciding that this is going to be a game changer for me. Okay. And then we are doctors. A lot of us also have busy lives other than doctoring. And one of my superpowers is getting rid of fluff and distractions and shiny objects and all of that, and getting to the core of what makes a business work. And so for you, a focus on strategic action as opposed to doing many things would make a huge difference, because you will have the resources to do that. Okay, what are the few critical things that will make my business work? Then I do those things, right? My words for last year were simplify and maximize, like make everything simpler and get a lot more done by doing less, right? The thing about strategic action is usually the strategic things are the things we would naturally avoid. That is human nature, right? And so you want to focus on strategic action, staying in strategic action so you're getting those results. Now, as far as results, winning, accomplishing goals, all of that stuff, it starts from a decision, right? And I want to invite everyone to make a decision. I'm going to win. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to thrive as a physician entrepreneur. You may not have all the how-tos, but you can make a decision, right? Like this is what is going to happen. I'm going to win. And I want to invite you, make that decision, right? You make the decision, then you make the decision right. Okay, so decide, I'm going to win. And a lot of things you learn may be different. I know many doctors were like, wow, outside of graduating med school and residency, I've never really set goals and stuff like that. I want to invite you to dream big. I want to invite you to dream big, but in the same sentence, but start from where you are. So dream big, but start taking action now. Dream big, but engage the process now. Dream big. Doctors, I'll just stop and say this, doctors, we are, and I'm not a proud person, like condescending to others or anything, but I will tell you this, doctors are pretty phenomenal people. Like we are so amazing. I get so fascinated when I stop and think about it. Like somebody is 5 years old, right? And then they decide, I'm going to be a heart surgeon, like the heart, like the thing we need to live, right? I'm going to be a heart surgeon. And this person, goes through high school, goes through pre-med, goes through med, goes through residency, fellowship, all that, and comes out as a person who can cut open a chest, crack open a chest, pull out a heart, fix it, and put it back. We are phenomenal. Physicians are amazing. We've had big dreams. We're experts at delayed gratification. We have unbelievable work ethic, and we are able to chase down a dream for over a decade until we see it happen. We're amazing. So you've always dreamt big, dream big here too. Okay. All right. And then be open. You're going to hear a lot of things that you're going to go like, what? Like I have to do that. And I want to invite you to be open, right? Like, even if it's something you're like, I've never thought of doing that, or I don't know how I would do that and stuff like that, don't cancel it, be open. Even if it takes you a moment to accept it or to try it or to embrace it, take the moment, but be open, okay? Be open, be coachable, be willing to explore, treat this like an adventure, be open to try new things, so be open. And that's what you would do, right? So this is my thing, okay? 2022 is the year that we have more impact, more revenue, more time for the things that matter to us, more connections because we're in such an amazing community, and a lot more fun. We can have all of that in this year. And I am 100% committed to help you accomplish that. Okay. And now it's your turn. What is your commitment? Okay. What is your commitment? Because if I'm committed and you're committed, then that's magic, right? That's magic right there. That's going to happen. So I'm going to stop the share for a second, and I will have you guys post in the chat, like, what is your commitment for 2022? What are you committed to? What are you committed to? Are you going to win? Are you going to make this happen? Are you going to launch that business? Are you going to scale that business? Are you going to crack 6-figure, 7-figure? What are you going to do? What's your commitment? All right, so Dr. Pooja says, my commitment is to build my coaching business to 6 figures in revenue. Dr. Tawana, hi, to invest in myself and my dreams. Dr. Martina, I'm committed to doing whatever it takes. I love that. Dr. Miller, I'm committed to launch my business and make it successful. Dr. Liz, committed to making this the biggest year of growth and have fun doing it. I like that. Dr. Carr, I'm committed to taking messy action and following through on my big ideas. That is like music to my ears. Dr. Delia, I'm committed to doing the scary things to move my business forward. Dr. Tolu, to follow through and be open to new challenges. Dr. Cynthia, focus and figure out how to succeed, do the things. Dr. Christine, I will launch my nonprofit and have a successful funding event for it before the year end. Okay, so there is another doctor in the business school who has a nonprofit as well. You guys will have a lot of fun together. Dr. Megan, hi. I'm committed to making my business work. I want to work for myself, serve doctors, and thrive. I choose to get unstuck and stay unstuck. Dr. Malini? No, I didn't. What? Wait, tell me, did I get that right? No, I did. I messed it up again. Oh, hang on, you're muted.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. It's Malini.
Malini, Melanie
Yes.
Malini. Okay,
Exactly.
maybe.
And that's exactly what my parents named me, Melanie Malini. Actually, sorry, Malini Melanie.
Malini Melanie. Okay, look at that.
Yeah, they named me that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I took
okay.
the
We love
I took the
parents.
Melanie away. I took the Melanie away when I got married.
We love parents. Well, you know, they brought us in the world. We're okay.
Yeah.
Malini. There, I got it.
Malini.
Okay.
Mhm.
Committed to having more impact. Hi, Dr. Alexia. My commitment is to start my coaching business and be all in for all the things that lead to success. Dr. Ravender, take massive action, launch and scale my business. Dr. Gia, hi. And thank you for that beautiful review you left me on the EntreMD podcast. I was like, what? I posted it everywhere. I read it too. I'm committed to launch my business and start my YouTube channel. Dr. Cherise, hi. Committed to becoming more organized and not doubting myself. I love it. Dr. Carolyn, I'm going to launch a business. I didn't know the details of what or how yet, but I'm committed to figure out and make it work. Dr. Jessica, hi. Do everything I can to figure out the next phase of my life and make it successful. Dr. Tommy, to continue to grow and challenging myself. Dr. Palmer, I'm committed to investing the time I need to grow my business. Dr. Kimberly, figure out what I want to focus on for my business and go all in. Mello, okay. Marsha Mello, okay, I got it. Dr. Liza, I want to start a podcast. Yeah, let's do it. And my coaching business. Dr. Malika, committed to overcome fears to make my dreams come true. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but how many of you are already excited by all the, based on all the doctors that are in this room? Do you hear the dreams? Do you hear the commitments? Like, this is so amazing. So amazing. Okay. All right. So I am going to share some next steps with you, and then I'm going to take some questions. So I want to show you what's going to be happening on our next call, the things that I want you to think about. Okay. So let me go back and share real quick. I am beside myself with excitement. So good. Okay. All right. So these are your next steps. Okay. I want you to create a recurring event on your calendar every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, from January the 19th, right? That's when you have your first call with the bigger group. Next week, we're going to be by ourselves, just you and I. And then I want you to think about these questions. Now, before we go into these questions, I want you to realize something. With business, it's like having a baby, whether you're growing or scaling, right? Because if you're scaling it, it's kind of like then you're the 2-year phase with the terrible twos, you're the teenage phase with the teenagers that don't want to wake up and don't want to do anything. So there's a messiness to this. So the questions that I'm gonna have you work on, you might go like, I'm not sure. And that's because as doctors, we think in terms of algorithms, crystal clear, stuff like that. No, this is, we make decisions. That's the way this works. And we own things, and it's messy, and it's okay. Okay, so you're going to answer these questions. What is my business? If you already have a business, a number of you already have businesses, or what is my business idea? Okay, and you might be going like, I'm not really sure. But you have ideas, that's number one. And number two, if you have 3 ideas and you could only do one, which one would it be? Okay, and we will work through this on our next call, but I want you to own it. Like, I don't want you to think, I don't know at all what I want to do. I mean, you know something, you may not be sure, right? Like which one to pick, but you know something. The second thing is, who do I serve? Okay, so I think, I love coaching female physicians. That's what Dr. Pooja said. If you're in private practice, you know who that person is, but own that, right? Because that's going to be the foundation for a lot of things that will happen in your business. We have to be crystal clear about that. What is their primary problem? Dr. Pooja talked about her coaching business and is burnout in female physicians, right? What outcome do I offer them, and what is my business model? So when you got access to the private podcast, there was a training on the business model. So if you haven't had a chance to review that, then you want to take a moment and review it. Okay. And so what's my business model, which is basically, how is my business going to make money? That's what it is. So is it a coaching service? Is it affiliates? Is it speaking? Is it, what is it? How is it going to make money? Okay. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, you can. But those are the 5 questions that I want you to have as dialed in as you can, okay? As dialed in as you can on our next call, because when you join the bigger group, I want you to be able to go in there, pull out a cute picture and post on there, my name is Dr. I have this kind of business. This is how my business makes money. And I'm so excited. This is my intention for 2022. And you'll be able to say all that. You're walking in as an entrepreneur who has made decisions on, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to accomplish. Okay. So that's what I want you to do. So screenshots, if you will. And then I'm going to stop the share in a second. Okay. All right. Now this call will not, the call we have next week will just be this cohort. It's not going to be everybody. So that way we have the time to work through things, and then you join the main group. Okay. All right. So that's kind of from my perspective. And again, I'm containing myself, and I'm 42. I don't do cartwheels anymore. Otherwise I would just turn off the camera and I've done some cartwheels and I'll come back. So I'm really excited for you. If, as you hear all of this, you start feeling your heart race, like, I don't know if I can do this, it is a normal experience. You're human. That is all that is happening, and embrace it. Okay. This is a thing. This is what we do as humans. If you feel like you're a little overwhelmed, I'm going to give you one tip, and that is overwhelm for the most part. And I'm not trying to say people don't go through things, but overwhelm is a decision, right? Like, oh, this is a lot of stuff, so I'm overwhelmed, right? And really, what I want to invite you to do is, okay, this is a lot of stuff. In all of these things, what is my next step? This is the next step. Do that, forget about all the other stuff, right? Isn't that what we do for running codes and all this stuff? Like, there's 700 things going wrong. but we pick one thing. Like the next thing we should do is this person should get epi. Oh, at this point, we should intubate them. We don't worry about all the things, right? So it's just like, okay, so what's my next step? And then I take my next step. What's my next step? And I take my next step, okay? Because you've signed up to do something you've not done before, to embrace a challenge that you haven't taken on before, to grow more than you've ever grown before. It's going to feel weird, but it's good, okay? And being uncomfortable is like, it's a muscle, staying in that space. The longer you do it, the more you become comfy being uncomfortable. And I used to hear about this, I was like, yeah, whatever. Until last year, I realized that when I'm comfortable, I'm like, wait a minute, that means I'm not growing. That means I'm not taking on new things. That means I've settled. And then I go look for something scary to do. So we can get comfortable doing this stuff. So if you're like, oh my goodness, what have I done? This is a normal experience, okay? But don't let it stop you, okay? All right, great. So what we're going to do is we have 15 minutes. Because you guys are savvy entrepreneurs with busy lives, we're going to keep our calls in an hour. So you're never like, I don't want to go, because Dr. Una never stops talking. So this is the way we're going to do it. So I want to open it up for questions. If there's anything here that is unclear, let's tackle those. And then I'll let you guys go. Was this helpful? Was it? Are you guys as excited as I am? Because I'm like, let's do it. Okay, great. All right, Dr. Zhang was like very, 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 very helpful. And I'm so happy to see you here, Doc. Super happy. Okay, so if you have questions, I want you to raise your hand so we can kind of go in sequence. And yeah, so you can raise your hand on the Zoom thing. I think your reactions would be, if you're using a computer, it will be bottom right-ish. And then I will take some questions and then I'll let you guys go. Awesome. All right, Dr. Malini. Finally, I got it right? Yes. Okay, unmute yourself.
Yeah. So one of my biggest questions with like starting the whole entrepreneur path is, what if I pick a path and it's like not a good idea? That's like where I'm like I have an idea, but I don't know if it's a good idea. Like, I know we're physicians and, you know, I may want to branch out from being a physician. I may not, I don't know. But what if I pick the wrong idea? Or what if, I don't know, I'm just like kind of like scared about picking something wrong.
So that's a great question. So now on our call next week, we're all going to be saying, this is my business, this is how I make money, all of those things. So if it's a good idea as far as, can this work? Is it feasible? Can it generate revenue? We'll address that. And we'll also look at, is that where you want to be going, right? Because if you say, well, I want to walk away from medicine, we might go like, okay, well, that's a bigger decision. We want to see, you know, do you want to build this and do locum to keep your skills if you're trying to figure that out? Like, we'll troubleshoot that. But for everybody, this is the concept when it comes to building a business, because it's kind of like choosing medicine. If you had multiple passions, maybe you wanted to, do I want to be a doctor or a lawyer? Do you ever really know? Like, you still walk in with, I don't know if I don't know, you know, but I made the best decision I could with the information I had. What I will tell you is the skills for entrepreneurship at the foundation are the same. So what that means is, if you pick something and it's not the thing, you're still going to grow as an entrepreneur, and the thing becomes the thing that leads to the thing. Does that make sense? Like, you don't lose time. Like, let's say you chose private practice or coaching. I don't know. Like, do I want to do private practice or do I want to be a coach? Okay, what's the worst? You pick private practice and you do that for a few days. Like, I'm supposed to be a coach. Well, guess what? You know how to recruit clients. You know how to promote your business. You know how to hire. You know how to fire. You know how to build team culture. You understand bookkeeping. You know all this stuff. So at the end of the day, If you go on and say, not doing this, I am going to be a coach, guess what you go to that coaching business with? All these skills that you built over 5 years. So you don't actually lose the time. Do you see what I'm saying? So we will make the best decision with the information we have at the time. And if you're going to do anything that's really drastic, then we're going to say, yeah, let's not do the very drastic first. Let's do some testing so you see what you want. And then we take it from there. But you never lose giving yourself to entrepreneurship because the skills are yours to keep. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we got you. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do next week on the call. Okay. But what I'll ask you to do is take the time, think about it. If you're the kind of person who gets a lot of inspiration taking walks and stuff like that, think about like, what do I want to do? How will this work? How will it play out? Because the better the information you give me, the better decisions we can make. And that's not to say, oh, I didn't think about it for 5 hours, so it's going to be a terrible decision. No. I'm just saying, give it your best shot, coming up with what you think there will be, and we'll work it out.
Okay.
Does
Sounds
that help?
good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Dr. Jessica, so nice to put a face to the name.
Hi, so nice to be here. I'm really excited. My question, I think, is pretty similar to Dr. Malini's and to what I'm seeing in the chat. The same thing, like I have a few different ways that I'm thinking I could go. I know what I'm doing now is not going to be sustainable for me going forward. The big dream, which listening to you, I feel inspired to kind of go towards the big dream, but that would require blowing up my current life. And I don't know if that's such a good idea. And just like the other people are saying, I'm wondering how much time we might have to like do sounding boards with each other before we're in a big group and might kind of get lost in all of those numbers.
Yeah. So you're not, first of all, you're not going to get lost, right? And we are going to take the time to for those of you who are not sure, to figure out what that should be. I will say I am not a huge fan of blowing up lives because there is a concept, the business before the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if there's something really big you're going to do, there's usually something before it that will not require a blow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means you can kind of marry the two. And at this point, you're like, nah, I know I can do this, right? But it's set the stage so it's not a complete blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So for instance, even with when I was starting EntreMD, because EntreMD is not my first business, I have a private practice, and that's where I started from. And then I realized I was like, listen, medicine as we know it is, that's gone. Like what, that all of that stuff is all gone. And if as doctors, if we don't learn all these other skills, if we don't have other skills other than doctoring, we're going to be out of luck, right? And that was 2016. So 2016, I could have walked away from my private practice and said, I'm starting EntreMD. I didn't do that, right? So what I did is I started EntreMD. I dropped a day a week. I built it more. I dropped more time. My intention was always to retire at 40. There was no burnout. There was no problem. But my intention was always to retire at 40. And so I grew this bigger and dropped that to the point where I think for the last 2 years, I've been seeing patients 1 day a week. You see what I mean? And that's just because. You see what I'm saying? So there's a way to do it without explosions, but you can still embrace it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm just saying that to say we may not do explosions, but there will be the business before the business that we can work on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
My pleasure. Dr. Palmer, hi.
Hey, hi there. As we speak, I had to carve out this time. I'm really nervous about that because I'm not busy seeing patients, and I have another hour's worth of clinic and just missed out on 4 same days, and we're busy with COVID in Oregon. So I guess my question's kind of been answered already. I'm a private practice pediatrician, and our practice is undergoing a lot of changes. And so I'm hoping that that's good enough to say that that's my business right now. That's the part I want to build out and gain the skills to really kind of gain some momentum, because we're losing a doc and hopefully gaining 2 more. And so that's kind of my commitment. I guess my question's already been answered, but yeah, I guess I'm just nervous about dedicating the time away from practice to build something else. And does that sound like a good idea? Like just work on what I'm doing now make that successful. And then if I want to do something else, branch out from there.
So your practice, is it at full capacity? And are you seeing patients 5 days a week?
Yeah, I'm seeing patients 4.5 days a week. We have a physician who just retired. We don't have anybody to fill her spot. So we went from 4 docs sharing overhead to 3. And there's a lot of, I'm worried about the cash flow in about 2 months.
Okay.
And the doctor we're hiring may probably not start until mid-May. So we've
Okay.
got some lean months ahead of us. And so carving out time to learn some new skills, it makes me very nervous. Wednesdays work out great because that's my afternoon off. But yeah, I'd like to scale back on my clinical days and increase our cash flow at a time where there's a lot of balls in the air and we still haven't landed a 4th physician to fill the retiring physician's place. So a lot of things make me nervous, and I'm so glad that you were in private practice as a pediatrician, because I feel like it might be a really good match.
Yeah, but so it sounds like, right? So with all of that, it does sound like your practice is what you want to build. And so you will learn new skills, but it's new skills applied there. But guess what? If you decide, because you can, when I started my practice, I was like, I want to build something that works without me. That's really what I want to do. So it's profitable. It works without me. There's systems in place. We have the marketing dialed in, right? And so all these things that you learn, you can apply it to that. But guess what? If you then decide, wow, I'm here, I'm working 3 days a week and all this stuff, and I want to explore other things, you have your skills. So we call that portable wealth, right? Because you can just take it and go anywhere you go, like it's yours. You know what I'm saying? And so I would say deploy all your stuff to get that as busy as you want it to be, to get the cash flow working, to get the team in place, which of course there's a unique challenge with that, right? With the Great Resignation and all of that stuff, but we'll work it. And then, so you can engage 100%, but your business is your private practice.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Dr. Gia, hello.
Hello, hi, can you hear me
Hi.
well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. My question is on my worry that I don't see what I don't see. Sometimes I may have mindset issues or resistance, and maybe you ask me to do challenge and I give a lot of excuses. So I'm wondering, how do you handle these sort of resistance? Do you call me out? Because I want that, but I don't know how do you approach it.
Oh, the group will call you out. Okay, so there's a number. And this is the thing though, because I want to be, I don't want to, I want it to be authentic about this, right? Everybody has resistance. Like there are changes I know I need to make, like right now in my business, that recently I was just like, okay, I'm now out of resistance already, right? Everybody has that. So if you have that, you recognize that, just go like, okay, I'm going to work through this and get out of it, right? Like, so I don't want you to feel like I'm bad because I have that, right? Like I told you guys about the collaboration book. It's 47 people, which means I had to read 47 chapters, give feedback, and get them back and read them again. So I was like, I'm not doing that. That's too much work. I'm not, and I was in resistance. And it causes nothing but pain, right? And then after a while, I was like, okay, stop it. This is going to be good for you. It's going to be good for them. It's going to be good for the people who read it. Just do it. So in the school, the monthly challenges, right? They create positive peer pressure, because what will happen is you'll see somebody who was nervous and crying like, I can't do this, and they're killing it. And you'll preach a short sermon to yourself and like, if they can do it, man, what is wrong with you? Do you see what I'm saying? So doing it in community is really helpful. And then on our calls, you'll be challenged to do that. And your people, sometimes they'll tag, not in a rude way, not in an intrusive way, but if you've made some connections with people, they'll go like, hey, looking for your stuff and stuff like that. So there is a lot of accountability built into it. There really is. But then again, remember, you're a physician entrepreneur. You are a successful physician entrepreneur now. So you also take the time to call yourself out. but
Great,
it's
great.
built in. So you'll
Thank
be
you.
okay. All right. And the
Nice.
thing about the challenges, don't worry if you start them and you're like, it's challenging, because it's a challenge. It's going to be challenging. But the more you engage with it, the better everything is. Okay. Yay, Dr. Kara, take us home.
Hi, I know we're
Hi.
almost at 8. So, and my question might be a bit more of a next week question. So just let me know. I'm happy to ask it next week as well. But just a little bit of background. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist. I'm also a sleep physician. And I've had kind of more like a passion project for the past few years. I've been creating a program for teens with insomnia.
Oh,
And I've really even struggled with the idea of making it into a business. And where I always get stuck is that teens are not my ICA, but I do need to serve them. My ICA, I guess, would be the parents. But even that is not, I don't even know if that's I don't know if that's the right audience to target. I'm wondering if it should maybe just continue as my passion project. I'm going to follow through on it. I'm actually piloting the first version of the program at the end of the month. So it's going to happen. But even the idea of selling to teens and their parents is very icky to me. I know I have to get over that. But I'm wondering if I should just keep that a passion project and then build out something that actually makes sense with the business, like the idea of selling water to thirsty people. Like these are not, there's a lot of ambivalence. It makes it very tricky. Lots of different, and who I'm serving gets confusing. So I
okay.
would love your thoughts on that, because that's by far the biggest challenge I find I'm facing.
So there are people here who are parents and they're pediatricians here. Is sleep in teens a problem? So I want you to look in the comments, right? So Dr. Palmer says, I spend a lot of time talking to teens about good sleep. Sleep is such an issue. Cynthia, college students and early adulthood, my son struggle. Dr. Mello, family med here, yes. Tammy, yes. And she's child adolescent psych too. It's an issue. So the thing is this, the reason why I'm asking that, so Dr. Carolyn says, I have a teen with sleeping issues. I wish someone would have offered me a program. Okay. And I'm not saying, I'm saying this to just say that is valid, right? Now, it may not be the business you choose, but it is valid. In fact, in the school right now, we have Dr. Funke Brown, who is sleep medicine as well. And she's getting, paid speaking gigs for that. She's had Baby Center reach out to her to do a course, record a course for them. She has all this stuff going on. It's a problem. Like, it's a big problem. It was a problem before COVID because of technology. And then COVID just made it an unbelievable problem. We are going to talk a lot about money mindset, because as physicians, we've always been divorced from the money, right? We come to work, we get our cup of coffee, we sit down, then we go see patients, then we go home, and money shows up in our account like magic, right? And so we're completely disconnected from how money happens and all of that. So we'll talk about that, because you can sell, you can be authentic, you can help people and make a lot of money doing it, and it's all good. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about that. So first of all, if that's what you choose, that can be a business. But if you have other ideas, we can look at it, and then you can pick which one you want. That's low hanging fruit. It's right there. You can always play around with it. And even if it doesn't end up being the thing, at the end of it, you would have been comfortable with money, comfortable with selling, comfortable with serving and earning. Those two things can go together and be really, really okay. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that answer your question? In a way, I know that's
yeah, it does. And I think, you've kind of answered my question before, but I think, if everybody else is struggling with kind of how to move forward and what to choose. And I think ultimately you're saying it doesn't really matter, just choose something and you'll build the skills. But I think I'm just wondering if I'm choosing the harder, like the much harder option, and if I should actually build these business skills with something that isn't quite so
okay. And so yeah, when you come with your ideas next week, then we can choose, right? So just think them through, like, is this or this, and this is why I want this and all, and we'll think it through. But guys, if we make, there's no wrong decision per se to be made, right? If you talk about blow-ups and stuff like that, we might go like, yeah, maybe let's not do that. But one or the other, we'll make decisions, okay? And it'll be okay. Okay. Yay. Okay, people. Well, there we have it. This is our first call. So do your homework. And okay, maybe we do this in the comments. I'm going to invite you to enjoy this process. Don't let it stress you out. Like, will I make the wrong decision? All of that. It's like fellowship. It's like residency. We had to pick. It's like, what do I pick? Some people know right away. Many people are like this or that or that. I don't know. Right. So if you're going to enjoy the process, if you want to explore enjoying the process, I want you to type in the chat. I'm going to enjoy the process. I'm picking my idea, picking the problem I solve, all that. You know, I may not have exact answers, but I'm going to enjoy the process of picking and all of that. Just own it. Okay. And we'll make good decisions and we'll take it from there. Okay. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, we're all going to help each other. This is going to be amazing. And we have time to fine tune it. It will be great. And you will not be lost in the big group. You'll be excited to be there. And they're already waiting for you. They're excited. Okay, let's do a picture. So a year from now, we'll be like, do you remember when? Yes. Okay. Let's see. Is everybody's camera on? Let's do this. All right. So big smiles. Oh, okay, there we go. Dr. Sharice, are you able to turn your camera on?
Girl, I look a mess.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Big smiles, everybody. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. It was so great meeting every one of you. And I'm so excited because we are going to rock this thing and we are going to be the examples of what is possible to all the physicians who are out there. Okay. So I cannot wait. We're going to celebrate this. More impact, more revenue, more time, more connection, and a lot more fun. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Okay.